Hi, it's Katrina. I'm going to text Kelly to see whether or not you all can see me. I had to start the whole thing over. I hope you can hear me. So I do have two cards that I wanted us to make today. Let me put something here in the chat. Nobody's here. Okay, so let me see. To share this, copy, close, new link. Okay, so I've sent the new link to Kelly. If anybody is left in the other one, perhaps they can jump over here. I'm so sorry. This makes no sense to me as to why it's not working. I need to go close my door. Hold on. Oh, all my mess back there. I've gone through a bunch of my stuff. I'm getting ready to destash a bunch of stuff, and that's what you see back in the corner. And I'm see, is this the camera? This is the camera. Okay. All right. Make sure I'm on the right camera. All right. So what I was talking about, hey, Kelly, thank you for joining. Did anybody else stay? This sucks. Anyway, I wanted to show you all a few things. Hopefully you can catch the replay. Can you, Kelly, were you able to add the link to the new one to the chat of the other one? No, because it probably left. Okay. All right. So I wanted to show you all some of the new stuff that just came in this week, and it's going to be in our July online catalog. And I'm excited because that means we have Christmas paper for Christmas in July. And that's what the July card club will be, is Christmas cards. It'll be 2 Christmas cards. This is the bundle that goes with this paper, which is called Stitched Season, a Stitched Season. So you get the stamp set, stitched stockings, and stitched stocking dies in that bundle. So that's what the card club will have next month. So we'll be able to use that. I also have this die right here, which I really like. It's like a border die for your card. And the bundle with it is these sentiments. And I do really like these sentiments. We've used some of them today. And then this one, I like this. This inked floret is what they're calling it. I have some ideas about a really cool card for that one and this other one that I have, and I don't see it. I don't see it right now. There was another new one that came in, but I've got some ideas about some double vision cards for those two. So we're kind of excited to see that. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started on our cards for today. We have 2 cards that we're doing. And I don't know about you, but I do love a fun fold card. But this is the first time I've done this fun fold card. It doesn't look very complicated, but I did run out of time to check and see. But the first card, not a fun fold, but it is a little bit unique in that the card base is going to be vellum. Okay. The Stampin' Up! Vellum is a really heavy duty vellum. You can see it's not just flopping around. It holds its shape really well. So that's what the card base is going to be. And so if nobody has any questions, Thank you, Kelly. If nobody has any questions, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my camera down. And since nobody's here but me and Kelly, and maybe somebody else has joined us, I'll go ahead and I'll try to make sure that my camera is facing exactly what we need it to face. So I am going to be doing a destash, and I'll probably do that on my page of a lot of old cardstocks or cards making stuff that I've got. And there are boxes of it back there that I'm working on. And let's see, we wanted to be right side up, and I think that has us right side up. Let's see. I think I'm not too close to my camera this time. I'm trying to figure out exactly where I need to put my stuff. Okay, so that's not the way we want it because I am doing it differently. Okay, so what does that do? We're upside down. Ta-da! Okay, now we have that set up correctly. Thank you for bearing with me while I walked through that. All right, so this is a beautiful set of paper that we're working with on this first card. It is called Nature Walk. It is one of my favorites. And I say that a lot, but I really do like this. And it's especially good for masculine cards because there's not the first flower on it, which is often hard. But so the paper here, all of them are two-sided. And you get 6 different sheets, and they're 12 by 12, but I have used the heck out of this. I love this one. I've used the heck out of this one, so it's got a lot of it is just already been used. So they're not 12 by 12 anymore. Let's see. I haven't shown that blue one yet. Let me see if I've got a smaller piece. I don't. Okay, so it's this. And then this. So you can see that this would be a really good set for masculine cards. And the card we're making today is neither masculine or feminine. It is for my mother-in-law, my father-in-law. Today is their 60th wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary, Jesse and Linda. So I'm really excited. And oddly enough, I mean, I had cards made. I had anniversary cards. I had like 5 or 6 of them right up until yesterday when I put them in the mail to mail them to somebody who had wanted them. And then I realized yesterday while I was on the phone with my mother-in-law, oh yeah, I could have used one of those. So today we'll make a new one. Okay, so we are starting. We've got a piece of 2 pieces of 5 1/4 by 4. One of them is going to go on the outside. The other one is going to go on the inside, and that's where they'll be able to write. Okay. And then I'm probably going to put another piece right here because vellum, if you've ever worked with vellum, you know that whatever adhesive you use shows through, especially if it's a clear vellum. I do have some print vellum that's not the case. We have this 3 1/2 by 5 1/4 piece that's going to layer right here. And then we have 3 circles. The circles, these 2 circles here are cut with Nature Spotlight. One of them is 2 inches and the other one is 2 3/4. And then we have our sentiment on a 2 1/4, and it's going to go right on top of that like that. Okay. And then we have some foliage, and this comes from Fern and Flora, which is one of our new things in our new catalog, the May catalog. So I've cut those out to add some foliage to the card. And we have some ribbon, and then we're going to use these embellishments. You can't get these embellishments anymore, but they match the paper so well. That's what I'm going to use with it. I think one of the things with Stampin' Up! Is that everything coordinates together so well. That's one of the reasons the cards made with it come out so nice. All right. So I am going to put something else on the background there. All right. So the thing about vellum too is that when you use adhesives on vellum, they don't always, like liquid adhesive doesn't really work. Most of the time, that's what I use is liquid adhesive. But in this instance, I'm going to use the tear tape from Stampin' Up. You can use a tape runner if you want. I don't use tape runners very often, so I don't have an abundance of tape runners here in my workspace. So I'm just going to put 2 strips, one right there, and then we'll come and we'll put one on the other side, and then we'll center. And remember, when I say center, I'm eyeballing. I am not measuring to check center or anything like that. Okay, so I've burnished these down, and when I tear that white piece off, it'll be really sticky. And I just want to check and see what kind of margins I'm going to have on each side so that I kind of know what I'm looking for when I get ready to lay it down. Okay. And I'm going to come in here and just get it as close to centered as I can. Once it touches that tear tape, it's there. You can't move it around. So I do have it a little lower here on, it's lower to the bottom than the top, but that's okay. And now you can see here, you can see this. So we're going to want to put something back here to cover that up. I probably won't do that on camera today, but I would just cut something the same size or a little smaller and just put it right there. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with this white piece, and we're going to stick it right there. I don't put sentiments on the insides of my cards specifically so that it leaves plenty of room for people to write, but I also don't want anything there that unless I don't have a sentiment on the outside, then I may do it. But I don't want there to be anything else there to distract from whatever else they might be doing. When I was thinking about selling my cards, I was going to include extra inside, the insides of cards. I was going to buy extras with each card so that they could go ahead and reutilize the cards after they've been used once. Let me see what I'm going to do. You see what I'm talking about? That is like stuck already. Okay, but what I'm going to do in this instance is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to line it up with this other piece so that we don't see the white piece on the front. So you see what I'm doing? I'm lining it up with the other piece, and then I will fold this over and burnish it that way, and that's how we'll adhere that. So now when we're looking at it from the front, we don't see the white piece back there. We just see the front of our card. I'm going to stamp a couple of the ferns in here to kind of bring the outside to the inside, and we'll do that last. All right. Now, we want to do this right here. And now I'm going to go back to my glue because that's my preference. You don't have to put a lot of glue. The glue that you use, what's important when you're with your glue is that you're using a glue that's not real watery, because that will cause your paper to warp, and that's the last thing we would want to happen. Okay. There's glue right there. That was because I moved it, not because it seeped out. And that's the other reason you want to be careful how much glue you're using, because you don't want it seeping out. Okay, we have our dimensionals here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, and before I start adding this stuff, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line up the writing. And if you look real close, you can see, you can read a few words here and there. So what I want to do is make sure that my words directionally are the same as the words on my sentiment. You can't actually read the whole thing, but you can read a word here and there. It looks like that might be children, little, for little children. Yeah. So, okay. And then we're just going to slide this and trying to get it centered as much as possible and straight with the other. There we go. All right. And we're going to adhere these with dimensionals. And I'm going to use, well, we'll see. I'm going to put this one down first. just aesthetically. See, I love the back of this paper too. That's really, that's the, in my opinion, that's the earmark of a really good designer paper series, is when you like both sides of the papers. Of course, it's more convenient if you only like one side, because then you don't have to decide, oh, do I want to use that side or do I want to use the other side, or get upset because, oh my gosh, I wish I had more of that. If it wasn't on the back of this, I'd have more of it. Okay, again, directionally, we want to line this up. Or you might not want to line it up. You might want to be freer with it and do it, you know, so that they're not lined up right together, and be a little more asymmetrical than symmetrical. That is, as always, your call. Now, just because I'm using these papers and these stamps, that doesn't mean that, you know, the expectation is that you will as well. The expectation is that this gives you ideas of how to use products you already have, because I know a lot of us have plenty of product already. So this way, you know, I don't want you to feel like, oh, I need to use those products. If you want to use these products, then by all means, you know, I can give you the link to my site, and you can definitely order from me if you want to, but there's no pressure for that. Okay, and now we're going to slide this one right here. Isn't that cute already? I love it. Now we're going to go back to the glue and probably do one of them below. I'm going to do this one here below, I think. Nope, I'm going to have to shrink that one. All right, so I'm going to put this one here on one layer. That's a lot of glue. Way more glue right there than I need. I'm going to have to dab it off before I do this. And then I'm just going to barely touch this bottom part here. Okay. I'm going to slide it in so that it's coming from behind there. I'm just dabbing glue here and there. If you try to put glue all over the whole thing, you're just going to have a mess. Okay, and I'm going to curve this one right here. I get enough glue on that side. A stamping block has lots of good uses. One of them is to hold stuff down while you're waiting for the glue to finish curing. All right, and then we're going to use this one. I might be able to get the whole thing on there. We'll see if I put it just like this. All right, so I'm just going to put like the smallest dot that I can on each of the leaves near the tip. Some of it won't be flat on a surface, so it won't use the glue, but I'm putting it there just so that wherever I put it, it's there. If it needs the glue, it's going to be there. I'm not even this little glue thing, I'm not even putting pressure. That's just the natural flow of the glue. And just come just a few right here and here. There we go. All right, that should be adhered now, so that looks nice. And then we'll come and we'll put this right here like this. And again, I'm just going to put this right there. And while that's working on that, I am going to come into my dimensionals, and I'm going to cut the smallest piece that I can get off so that I can pop this up out there. Let's see. I'm going to do two pieces, one to put closer to where it comes off the edge, and one to put right out there at the end. Never think because our dimensionals have this border around them that you can't use every bit of the foam tape that is there. because you absolutely can. We always do. All right, so I'm going to come right here and I'm going to put it on one of these leaves where it won't be visible. Okay. And then this other one is going to go at the very top. See if I'll grab a card too, because I'll show you how to put this in your cards without damaging stuff that may not be adhered as closely, or as tightly as others are. Okay, so right there. All right, and we're going to put it right there. That's where we put one of them, and then we've got one right there. So now we'll put this back on there so that can adhere as well. I just want the paper to get used to staying like that. And while that's working, I'm going to grab this envelope. Okay, so when you have something like this where some of this is loose, the worry is always that you're going to mess it up when you put it in the envelope. So what I do is I open the envelope like this, and I take the card and I put it in upside down. It's not as pretty when they first open it, but I don't know if I can angle it here so that you can see it. But all of the embellishments are protected, and they just slide right into the card. And when they slide it out, it doesn't catch on anything either. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you. All right, so we wanted some embellishments. These over here are what we're using for that. And as you've heard me say many, many times before, somebody else joined us. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you could find us. And I apologize for the technical difficulties. The thing is, my husband, 2 weeks ago, he upgraded our the stuff that gives us the Wi-Fi in the house. And ever since then, I am having connectivity issues. I'm really upset about it. I had issues occasionally before, but now it's like all the time, every day. So he said that there was a piece he forgot to order. I'm hoping he goes ahead and orders it and gets it fixed. Otherwise, I may have to find another space to do these from. Okay, so I just put the embellishments on. And like I said, I like to work in odd numbers. It's more appeasing to the eye. And usually, unless it calls for something else, I put them in some sort of a triangle shape, which also seems to be appeasing to the eye. And then the last little thing, and this is just a strand of ribbon. It's the granite gray or gray granite. Yeah, gray granite ribbon. It came with a different set. It doesn't go with this one. It actually, it's gray, but the color still matches. Okay. And when we're adhering the ribbons, the best way to adhere the ribbons is with the glue dots. That's the way I've always done it. But all I did was trimmed the edges. I've also put a little bit of glue on these edges so that it won't fray. And then I just tied it in a knot. That way it's simple, really easy to do. You don't have to worry about a bow. I did a class recently, and I've lost my little... Okay, I'll get another one. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So, but these little glue dots, and if you look really close, you can see where the glue dot is right there. Not with my hand there, you can't. Maybe with some white. Nope. Yep, there it is. So you can see that. It stays tacky all the time. So you just put it on there, and that's how it stays in place and stays on your card, is it just has that little... Okay, and then we'll just put our ribbon right there. And that is it for this card, with the exception of the fact that I'm going to put something here. And there's 2 reasons I'm going to do that. First of all, I don't want to see this tape, the tear tape here. And the second reason is this side of this paper doesn't really go with our card. Okay, so I don't want to see that. And I'm also going to come back here and put another sheet of white so you don't see it here as well. Okay, so the only other thing we wanted to do is we were going to stamp the ferns. So this is the Fern and Laura set, and these are the stamps. And we're just going to take and probably this one right here, just put one in diagonal corners, just so that it brings the outside of the card into the inside. I can tell you this right here is just like it just adds texture. So that's a really cool stamp. So I really like that. I like stamps and dies that add texture to a card without adding dimension or weight. Okay. Now, as far as a color, I don't have any of the Stampin' Up! Inks in these colors, so I am just going to use this gray granite that we've used from the ribbon. And I'm going to stamp it right up here, and I'm going to stamp it down here. Yeah, this is new. I haven't opened it yet. That was one of the other things that came with when my order came in this week. One of the other things that came in was a card kit from Stampin' Up! And they do they have a subscription card kit called Paper Pumpkin, which I get every month, and I really do like that. And there's a lot of different ways you can use it. The kits come with everything you need to create 9 cards. So it's card bases, card bases, envelopes, embellishments, some print paper. Just depends on what they're doing that month. The theme does change every month. I can pull one out if anybody is interested in seeing it and seeing one. They're kind of cool. I enjoy them. Some of the stamps that we used today were actually from one of the kits. It's the kit from a couple months ago that had hummingbirds on it. That's where I picked my happy anniversary card up, or stamp up, that we see here on the front. That's where that came from. Okay, so I just cleaned up my little stamp. You always want to clean your stamps up before you put them away. And then we'll just slide it right back in its package. But just by doing that simple thing, and it still kind of goes with everything. So just that simple couple of stamps brings the outside to the inside of the card. Isn't that awesome? Okay, does anybody have any questions about this card? Like I said, I'm still going to do these parts, but I'm not going to make you all watch while I do that. Kentucky and Kansas. Hey, Kelly. Okay, I'm going to try share it on Facebook. Okay, thank you. Welcome, everyone. Where's everybody from? Okay. So I am in North Carolina. So that's where I am. That's where I live and work with my husband of 34 years. I have one son. He was in the Navy for a few years, and when he got out, he's I'm just bragging because I'm proud of him. He's a smart boy. When he got out of the Navy, he had been a nuclear technician in the Navy, and a company hired him, and they said, "Here's where we have jobs." So he looked at all of those places, and Wichita, Kansas had the lowest cost of living, and there wasn't any change in how much he was being paid based on where he was going to be. So that, hello, Pamela. Oh, Canada. Yay, I love Canada. My daddy used to go fishing in Canada every year. Some of the best fish I've ever had. I said every day, every year. Every year in the summer, he'd go up there, him and his family, all the men from the family, for a week. I was always really jealous because he didn't take me. But I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it because I don't like, I like fish when they're in the pan or on my plate. But I don't like to touch raw live fish. All right, so that's enough about that, I guess. But anyway, Wichita, Kansas had the lowest cost of living, so that is where he selected, and that is where he met his lovely wife. And they have been married since 22, I believe. And they have one son. So I have one grandson, and he is adorable. I love, love, love him. And regardless of what Kelly may say, I have the cutest grandchild in the world. Kelly is my sister, so I'm allowed to say that. All right, so The other set, or the other card that we're going to do today, like I mentioned, it's a fun fold card. Here's the stuff for it. But it is from the, this is another new product that will be in our July catalog, online catalog, Violet Dreams paper. Okay. Very pretty paper. I did not get the whole suite with this. I just got the paper. So I did not get the stamps and the dies that are specific for it. So I decided that we would use some stamps and dies that I already had. So we're going to use, actually, this one is the Nature Symphony, which was the bundle or the stamp and die set that went with Nature's Walk. But we're using this stamp and this stamp. And then we're using these two die cuts. Okay. And again, you can see the texture here. They've got texture dies in this one. Love these. Okay. All right. So here we go. I haven't decided which ribbon I'm going to use. I didn't have ribbon in the colors that go with this. So I've attempted to make my own by taking a beige ribbon, which I have plenty of. And there's a reason I have as much of it as I do. So I've got, I'm taking, what was I saying? Anyway, I took that and alcohol markers and I colored it. So you don't have to have ribbon in every color. And you can do the same thing with twine. If you have a light color, you can take your alcohol marker and you can color it. Okay. And then we'll decide which one of those we're using earlier. I thought perhaps you could use the ink as well. And I've tried that on a couple of occasions, but if your hands start sweating, it comes off. Okay. Same thing with these here. So these here are the embellishments that we're going to use. I have just, they were all white and I'm coloring them with one of the Stampin' Blends that goes with the colors of our paper. So I kept one of them not colored so that we could go do that one together. Okay, so let's talk about the pieces that we're going to have. Okay, this is a Tower pinwheel card. It's a little bit different from the basic Tower pinwheel card that has 4 sides. This one is going to have 6 sides, so it will be hexagon shaped. Okay. So so you start out with 4 1/4 by 5. Okay, so that's going to create your base, your tower. And then you want 6 pieces of a colored cardstock. And we're using the Peaceful Pine, and you're going to cut them 2 3/8 by 4 1/4. Okay. Then you want 2 different patterned papers, preferably different from your other pattern paper. And you're going to cut 3 of each design, 2 1/8 by 4. And then you want 6 white, and I have taken the liberty of going ahead and stamping these. And so I've got several of them here. I've only got 2 with the leaves, and then the rest of them have sentiments on them. And these are all 6 pieces are 1 3/8 by 4. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do, I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to adhere this or put the pieces on first. And I think I will start by putting the pieces on. Like I said, this is the first time I've done. No, I'm going to go ahead and adhere it because then I'll fold it flat. All right. So decide which side you want out and which side you want in. What you're going to see is what's on the inside because the rest of it will be completely covered up with the other paper. So I think I have folded it incorrectly because I wanted the outside to show or the dark side to show. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold these in the opposite direction. The score marks here, you start at 3/4 of an inch and do each 3/4 after that. So you've got 3/4, 1.5, 2.25, 3, 3 3 3/4, 4.5. Okay. And you'll end up with and this one is the one with the smaller tab. You'll end up with one smaller tab. Okay. Which is a 1/2 inch. And that 1/2 inch is how you're going to adhere these together. So I'm going to take, and like I said, you use the type of adhesive that you want. Tear tape would be good for this, tape runner. The liquid glue works for it. What wouldn't work for it is dimensionals, because you don't want to use dimensionals here. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this for a couple of seconds to make sure it adheres well before we get started. You can see that I have lined up right along that edge. Okay. So now I'm going to take these and I'm going to adhere along one edge. We're going to adhere this, okay? We're going to kind of center it. And then when we put it on here, we're going to put it on here like this. And then once it's glued down, the other side of it is where we will be putting our white paper, okay? All right. So first thing we'll do is we'll go through and we'll adhere all of these. As I'm doing this, I'm going to alternate them so that when I pick up the finished pieces to put on the card itself, I'm going to be picking up every other one so that I don't have it. There we go. There we go. So anyway, I want to go ahead and alternate them here. So my corner is curved just a little bit. So I'm going to put a dab of glue. Okay, you can see a little bit of it bled out. But if you have a little weeding tool or a piercing tool, you can just swipe it and pick it right up. Okay. So put it up here. Now I'm going to take this one, and like I said, I want to alternate them. I'm also going to put all of them facing up. See, this is directional, and this is directional as well. We want to make sure that on our card, they're all going the same way, along with our words going the same way. That's probably the most complicated part of putting a card like this together, is making sure that all the directional pieces are headed in the proper direction. That's one of the things I do like about the liquid glue, is that you can move your piece around a little. Before it cures, and that way you've got some time to position things exactly where you want them. Rory, yeah. And Pamela, I think I saw you in the first attempt at this. I really do appreciate you coming back. It's the technology has been problematic for me, which is another thing that's weird, since my husband in his past life was an IT professional. But it was a past life. He doesn't like dealing with it anymore. So I'm just struggling on my own, trying to figure it all out. There we go. All righty. Now we're going to pick one of these. You can see how the glue, you know, in the areas, I mean, there's not that much glue on there, and that's what you want. I've got that curl coming again here. So I'm going to go right here. I'm happy you found me too. I've got to figure all this stuff out. I don't want people to not be able to depend on me to be where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there. So yeah, even though it's problematic without my husband's help, I will get it figured out one way or the other. I could use some research and do some reading, and that's where I'm heading. I just haven't done it yet because historically, either Mark could answer me or I could just mess with it until I figured it out. But I'm not as young or as quick as I used to be on picking that kind of stuff up, which is part of growing up, I guess. See, I didn't say growing old. I'm still waiting to grow up first. Okay. So Stampin' Up! Has the liquid adhesive that they sell is called Tombow. I have not used it, so I can't offer an opinion on it. I have been using the glue that I'm using now for a very long time, and I'm just not sure I'm willing to part with it. All right. So here's our little hexagon that we're going to be adhering everything to. Let's see if I can get it shaped so that there we go. Okay, so that's the shape. And so that's what, when you look at it, when someone has it displayed, that's why I wanted that on the inside. I like that better with the colors that we're using today. And then we have all of these little pieces. Let me go through them and make sure that directionally they are going the same way. They are. Okay. So then the next thing is, and we're going to do these one at a time, we're going to adhere it on here, and then we're going to flip it over and we're going to put our white. And with the white, I'm trying to order them too. So I'm going to put them on each of their respective pieces here. There. Okay. So we've got this. We've got two of the. Okay, we'll put that there. We'll put this one here. And then we'll go back to the top, and then this, and then that. Okay. All right. Because I wanted to have some variety throughout. That's why I'm doing it that way. Okay. All right. So we'll start right here with this one, and we're going to adhere it to this piece right here. And I'm going to put the glue on this piece. And green piece down. Okay, now, and it's going up and down, and inside is the same way. We're still good. Slide it all the way to the edge. Now I'm going to put this piece here, right there. Okay, and then we will take one of these die cuts and slide it into the crease and put it on there. Well, my die cuts might be a little big for this. I didn't even think about that. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to trim the die cut down a little bit because even once I slide it in, it's going to poke out. And normally it wouldn't be anything to worry about, but we want to make sure that it'll fit into the envelope. So I'm not going to cut off a great amount of it. I'm just going to take that one leaf off. Okay. And I want it to look like it is coming from the crease right there. And there we go. And I'll hold this down for a couple of seconds. And then we have our first piece done. Okay, so there's our hexagon. And as we look at it, you can see there, just like that. All right. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move to the next piece. And we have it all lined up, so it's kind of cool. Still looking at the directionality, even though I've got them set up to be exactly where we want them. I'm trying to make sure as I go that that's still what's happening. I also want to make sure that on the bottom, everything is lining up. Okay. So fold that, press, and then we'll move on to this one. Now these don't really have functionality. It's just kind of randomly stamped. Oh, look, I made a date. It happens all the time, but the stamp was light enough that I didn't have to recut paper. I could just keep on moving just as I was. I just flipped it over and moved on. And there's another one in here that the same thing happened. In card making or any type of crafting, there's always going to be mistakes. We are human. We make mistakes. That's just a fact of life. The test of your creativity is how do you deal with that mistake and make it look like it wasn't a mistake. Still looking at the directionality of everything. Pressing it right in. You'll notice I'm not putting any more leaves on this one, no more foliage, because I think we have enough foliage. I want to test the stand up, make sure it's sturdy. It's still sitting sturdy. It's not wobbling. All sections are on the tabletop. Okay, keep on going. And now we'll do this piece. Now, for the ink that I've used on this one, for the leaves, I've used the Peaceful Pine because that's the paper that we're using. Peaceful Pine is one of our new in colors for 2628. So it will be with us for 2 years. But for this, instead, I've used the basic gray. I reach for this a lot. I tend to prefer it to black for my sentiments. Okay, now we want to grab some foliage for this one. The last foliage we used was this. So on this one, I'm going to use this piece here. And this one will fit under really nicely, so that's not going to be a problem. I'm going to thin it out, though. I cut my fingernail there instead of the paper. That's good. And just taking that tip off so that it sits more evenly. There we go. So I should mention that this card that we're making right now, this hexagon pillar pinwheel card, or whatever we want to call it. I am casing it from another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, Rachel Tessman at Stamp Your Art Out. So I should really mention her because she's, and I don't know that she's the first person who did this design, but that's where I saw it. I didn't come up with it by myself. But I did look at her picture and determine how to do it. Thankfully, she had the measurements on there for me, so I didn't have to figure that part out. So all of them still going in the same direction. And there we go. So Atlas is every bit of 18 months old now. As cute as he can be, as I mentioned. And I know y'all believe me. But yeah, he's adorable. Absolutely adorable. And some of the pictures that they send me so I love fun fold cards, Pamela. Just because I don't like, one of the things I really don't like doing is making the same thing all the time. So I do like to add a lot of variety. I like mixing things up. I like taking something, let me think. like I said, I like the fun fold cards. This one is kind of interesting. I'm enjoying this one. I hope you are as well. We need to put our, and we want to use this one this time. And again, I'm going to trim this one down so that it will fit. Direction. Yes, everything's fine. Okay. Let's see. But I'm trying to think. I don't really have a favorite, I don't guess, because I like to experiment with all kinds of different cards. One thing that I really enjoy is alcohol inks. So I like making backgrounds with alcohol inks. So that's outside of the Stampin' Up! Realm, but I do enjoy that. There we go. We had to trim this one down quite a bit because we want it to be able to still see the sentiment when we fit it in there. So I've taken all the leaves off of one side of it. And I like transforming one thing into something else. Come on. And we've tucked it in there. And then one thing that's really good about this particular die is that you can, because the stem is thin, you can just kind of bend it to your will and it still goes where you want it to go. Oh my gosh, 40 years. Okay, so let me see. Okay, 40 years. How long have I been making cards? Okay, so I would say I tend to try other things a lot of times. So I made my first card. It was probably 25, 26 years ago. And there's a big difference between what I was doing then and what I do now. You can definitely tell. You could definitely tell when I was new, and I'm not quite as new now as I was then. Oh, you see what I did on that one? I put it on the wrong side. I was supposed to ink the other piece of paper, and I inked the green paper. So since or not ink, but glued. So since I already had the glue there, I went ahead and adhered this, and now I'll do this properly and put it there. Still directionally correct. I'm holding this up because evidently I got some glue on that last piece right here. There's some glue right there, and I didn't want it to stick to it. Okay, we're almost done with this card. So I like to take something expected and change it to unexpected. Does that help at all? Yeah, Kelly. We all get it. You had the firstborn grandchild, a daughter. Well, there weren't even any girls since you and me, so. Okay, make sure that that one is all the way against it. It looked like it wasn't quite up against it. All right. And you see that this has turned into a 4.5 or 4.25 by 5.5 card base when it is laying flat, even with all of the pieces. Okay. There we go. So what got you into card making, Pamela? Okay. I'm just going to hold this for just a second. Okay, so from the top, that is what it looks like. Isn't that cute? We have made sure that everything was in the right direction. Our stuff is alternating the way I wanted it to. So that's perfect. Okay. And the point, the proof that this is a quick and easy card is I literally did not get to do a test card. So this is just from having looked at hers, and I cut it out ahead of time, and then we went from there. So if I can do it with no more than that, then you all can do it too, especially 40 years. That's awesome. Flowers and wedding, and oh yeah, I bet those are pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the coloring. Okay, so I have this one little embellishment here that we haven't used yet. I've got those colored already. It is important that you use alcohol inks. If you use inks that are water-based, the glue can take it off. It can rub off later. This way, the alcohol inks, you make sure that it stays there permanently. I'm going to put another coat on these because I just don't like they're not real even. So I'm just evening them out. Now that's the only thing with alcohol markers. What will affect the color is alcohol. So if this gets sprayed with alcohol, it's going to take that color off. Okay, and give them just alcohol inks dry very quickly. So we're just going to give it a little while. So I need to decide which. I've decided because of the bulk of the card. Yeah, it's pretty bulky. I don't know if there's a place for the ribbon. Even though I love putting ribbons on a card, I don't know that there's a place for the ribbon, so I'm not sure I'm going to use that. So while we're deciding that, I'm going to take a look and see where do I want to put the embellishments. So we've got thankful for you. You bring so much joy to my life. You're an amazing friend. And wishing you all the best. So wishing you all the best is like the end. Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to put these embellishments. Put one there, put one there, and then I'm going to take this bigger one, and this is the one that we just colored, and you can see the ink is not coming off on my hands. And then I'm going to come down here and put this last one. So there's our embellishments. Okay, now, so yeah. I think I'll leave the ribbons off in this instance. Okay, so, and there we have it. Oh, you found the... So I'm glad you found the sparkly duck stickers. That's awesome. Okay, so there we go. That is our second card for today. So we had 2 cards that we made. I don't see where I put the other card. I know it's here somewhere because I remember doing it. But this is the second one. The other one was the anniversary card for my in-laws. I will have to find that one, won't I? And anybody got any questions? So, Pamela, have you made this type of card before? Thank you. I so appreciate that, especially from someone with so much experience. I really do appreciate that. I like the vellum as the card base. I didn't think, and here's the card, of course, as soon as I said something. I had never thought to use it, but all of the vellum I had ever used was really lightweight. And you can see that this one stands up just as sturdy as any other card. So pretty amazed at that. Well, you've not made a card like this. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you were able to see something that you hadn't already done then. And if there's nothing else, so we have been here for an hour, more than that really, because we started off someplace else and wasted 4 or 5 minutes over there. So I appreciate you joining me. The link will be placed in live on Facebook. So if you ever want to come back to it, you'll be able to come to the link and see it. Please feel free to follow me on YouTube. I am just starting out, but I do plan to do lives once a week, and I'll be doing them from YouTube and not Facebook. So that's still not staying down, is it? Okay, I'll fix that. But anyway, thank you all so, so much. And I'm happy to share with you. If you have any special request of cards you might like to see, just message me on Facebook or put it in the chat one day when we're in here, and we'll go for it. I'm willing to try anything. You all have a great weekend. And again, thank you for coming and joining us. Everybody have a great weekend. Bye bye.